right, let's do this. High five. This is a high five for everyone that's stuck with this this little particular, what are we calling this? Episode? No, topic maybe. This topic of Carla, the autonomous driving simulator. So we've been working for weeks to get it set up, get it working. We finally got it working last week. Now we're to the fun part. So the fun part is where we finally mix in the voice for this voice and robotics stream. So we're doing that today. Cool. How's the audio today? Can you hear me better than last week? Hey, Trinity, welcome. All right. Got chats open here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer because there's a lot going on. Hey, Lord of Sound, welcome. There's been a lot going on with this whole project, but it's really fun. So I hope I can catch up really quick on where we are. So let's open this window, make the font a little bigger. So what I've got is an EC2 server, and this EC2 server is a GPU one, and it needs to be GPU because I want to be able to run Carla on it. Carla requires GPU services. So I'm going to run the script server.sh. What it does is starts VNC server, and then it just kicks off a headless Carla server. And then what you could do, once you have the server running, you could connect a client to it that does not have to be GPU. You could have a CPU machine at your house or in the cloud and then connect to it. So that's what we're going to do here. Amazon Alexa says, yep, sounds fine. That's good. So I've got the server running. I'm going to add SSH into the same machine, but I'm going to do some port forwarding here to 5901. Hopefully you can read that. I'll pull this over so you can see the whole screen. There we go. And nice. All right. So this is the server. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to export display to 1. Now we're going to run this. So let me load this Carla server here. This Carla Ross Bridge. So the Ross Bridge will connect us to, will let us use voice basically to control this robot, or to control our cars, to control the actors in the environment, things like that. So I'm going to run option 3, which is the Ross Bridge. And this is something we set up last week. And this will kick off the process. Hopefully we see no red in here in this output. So far so good, no red. Everything's working smooth, which we like. All right, so that's working. Now let's just connect with VNC to my local host 5901. You'll see a nice car. So here's our car. Resolution isn't, or not, the resolution's fine. It's it's a little bit small, but that's okay. We're gonna live with it. So I'm gonna enable manual control, which means I'll be able to drive for the W, A, S, and D. So I'm hitting W now, and we'll see this little Audi. Oh, it's not an Audi, it's a Mercedes-Benz. See the Mercedes move and do all sorts of fun things. All right, so this is Carla. This is great. Now what people use this for in the real world, frame rate is off the charts. Is it 20 FPS? You're making fun of my frame rate. Justin, tell Alexa to not make fun of 20 FPS. Hey, Startup, welcome. I heard you're hanging out with Greg and maybe a few more of our people this week, so thanks for taking good care of them. This sounds like they're having a really good time. Oh, is my camera not on? Let's fix that. Where's camera? Right here. Coding. There we go. But welcome, Startup. Thank you very much for your kindness and hospitality. Okay, so this is fine. And what people use this for in the real world is for training models, autonomous car models. So you can use reinforcement learning to train a car how to drive. I've seen a good paper recently on it's training a model based on one-shot video. So it's basically letting a robot or letting a system watch a video over and over and over and learning that way. So you could do it that way. I don't know if anyone's done that with Carla yet, but it'd be really cool. But what we could do, or what you could do on your own, is to use Carla to train a reinforcement learning model that will stay between the stripes, for example, or slow down when it comes to a curve, things like that. Oh, frame number. Sorry, where's the frame? Oh, frame number. Yeah, that'd be crazy. 3,000. Yeah, that's the frame number. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Now let me show you what I've set up for us today. So we have Carla server running. We have Carla client running. Now we also have in this, I'm going to show you this code right here, or this debug line. Can you see that? Listening on voice drive. That's a topic. So we're using PubSub. Ross uses PubSub to receive messages, to display messages, things like that. In fact, what I've learned is let me cross a line up here. When you see, I'll cross one of these dotted lines. See cross line broken? That's actually a topic that's listening for, it's a HUD topic. So I can post any message to the HUD topic to display something, debug information or collision information on the screen. As Lord of Sound says, I thought that number, the frame number here, represented the number of pedestrians running for their lives. I would like to see this system. We need to launch, AWS is a really beefy GPU. We should launch and see how many pedestrians we could get in it. All right, so I'll show you the code now. And by the way, I think this is a PSA for Visual Studio Code, but I've been using this a lot more lately. And this is a relatively new feature where you can use an editor to SSH into the machine. So instead of having to go here in Nano or VI and edit things in the system, I can just use VS Code. So this is the home Ubuntu folder. It's really handy. So check it out. All right, so this is the file. Let me show you where we're listening. Listening on voice drive. So what I have is an MQTT client, and it's listening on this topic voice drive. When it gets a command to voice drive, it calls this callback. The callback is called drive callback. And then this callback, I just borrowed this code from later down in this manual control. It came with some code to control the vehicle. I just took that and modified it a little bit. So now I can look for data that comes in on this topic. And if the data starts with FORW, so that would be forward or forwards, then it would publish a command that would set the throttle to 2, set the steering wheel to 0, and it will publish it and make the car drive forward. Now we could change this to anything we wanted, but right now I've got it at 2. If it gets a backwards or backward or reverse, I'm looking for those, then it will just change the gear to go backwards and then throttle of -2. All right. Water reflections in the street are really nice. I know, I love this. The one difference between this version of the code and what you saw last week was, last week I could change the weather and I could change the car. I could change the weather by hitting C. I could change the car by hitting backspace. You can't in this version, but that's okay. We're fine just like it is because the water reflections are really cool. All right, so let me show you how this topic works. So let's make sure the throttle is going down to 0. So we're at 0 kilometers an hour. And let's go here. So AWS IoT is what you can use to send messages. There's some grunt work set up to set up the secure communication between the two that I've done already. I've done a few episodes on that before, but it's not too difficult. So I'm going to send a command to voice drive. That's what we set up. It's looking for a JSON object that has a key of data, and then this is where we put forwards or forward. Make sure you can see this. Let me bring this up a little bit too. Yeah, I'll bring it up so you can see it. All right, so data, let's blow this up a little bit. And all right, so I want to see that. I also want to see it happen. Whoa, what did I do? Let's go back to this. I want to see it happen in real time as we send the forward command. Let's see if anything happens here. So I hit publish. It says I'm using the HUD to say publish forwards. And here's what I've noticed. It doesn't work. Let's try it one more time. Sometimes it takes 2, and then sometimes that doesn't work. And the problem is this manual control needs to be off. It needs to be in an auto mode. So I can hit B. Let's make sure I've selected this B to turn that off. Set vehicle control manual override to false. Now when I hit this, it should work. All right, here we go. Publish. There we go. So now I just sent a message to drive forward. Let's try to stop it before it rams into something. Oh no, this will be Trinity's favorite part though. He loves collisions. All right, I hit stop. Let's see if backwards works. Backwards, publish. You see the HUD gets it, and it didn't get it. Here's what I think happens. I think I noticed something in the code. Let's stop. I had throttle set. Let's go back to the code real quick. We can fix this. I had throttle set to, the gear set to 1, which is reverse, and I had the throttle to -2. I think that throttle should be +2. So let's do that, and let's just shut the client down and restart it. I loved our Mercedes. I think we're going to be disappointed and have a bicycle or something on this iteration, but we'll see. All right. So Startup says, of course, we're excited about tomorrow's event, World's First Alexa Community Day in Bengaluru 2020. That's really exciting. I'd love to go there. I wonder how many people are going to be there. I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but that's super exciting. Oh, cool. We got a little Nissan. Let's Manual override to false is good. Let's send a message to it. Let's see. Let's try forward first, just to make sure we can go forward. Whoops. Publishing, and see, nothing happens. But sometimes it takes a little bit to wake it up. There we go. I don't understand why. If there's some caching going on, I'm not too concerned about it yet, but it is a little annoying. All right, we're going to stop before we hit the wall. We're going to try to straighten it out. I'm using W to steer, maybe. Let's turn manual control back on. So let's steer and get it lined up here. We're going to try to go in reverse. All right. Turn manual control, override to false. Let's say data backwards. Still going forwards. All right, that's all right. It's not a big deal because our main goal today is to make this work with voice, and that's what we're going to do. Trinity wants to see the dump truck. Maybe it needs the first key. Lord Sound says maybe it needs the first keystroke to activate the window. That's very possible too. All right, so now we're going to make this work with voice. So I've got a skill started in Lambda. So here's the skill. Let's see if we blow this up, if it looks better. All right, very basic. What I did is I took the Python Hello World skill, and only thing I added was this MQT T client, which we've covered before. We've covered this in previous episodes. This just makes that connection just like this is doing. Now we're giving the Lambda skill the ability to send messages. And of course we know from building skills that we just need to go one step backwards and have ALEXA send the directive to make it drive. So let's make a new handler. We're going to call it drive handler. In fact, let me just show you this works. Let's publish. So I'm going to simulate a launch request. Let's do forward is fine, and let's see if it works from Lambda, just to make sure that that works before we go any further. So where do I see? Let's test it right here. We should see over in this window there. Good. Now let's publish stop really quickly, so Trinity doesn't get carried away with all these collisions. Save it, test it. We should see the throttle go down. All right. I think that worked. I'm gonna hit it one more time though. Test. It looks like it's still throttling. Yeah, it was. Did we ever see a stop command come up here? There we go. Publish stop. Okay. Voice controlled personal car. I know we're so close, Trinity or Justin. Okay. So we've got that. That works. Let's make a new handler to just send a forward command. So we're gonna copy that code. We're gonna call this drive request. Drive request. Handler for controlling the car. I know a lot of you are Node people, but I'm in my hopes. My hopes are that you will slowly see that Python is pretty cool, and I was Node forever too. But once you start getting to this RL stuff and some of the machine learning, you're probably going to have to switch to Python anyway. All right, speech text. We're going to say, okay, sending a command to your car. I don't want to remove that. I was going to make this dynamic, but we're not going to make that dynamic. We're just going to send, actually, let's just send forward for now. Then we can worry about slots. Forward, published, and simple card is moving your car. Moving your car. Let's see. Twitch controlled virtual car. I think that's about to happen now. We need a Twitch controlled real car. Amazon Alexa, we need an Alexa Tesla, like a real one that we can control, that everyone can control. We'll share it. So can you make that happen, Amazon Alexa? All right, so drive request. Let's go add. Let's save this real quick. Let's simulate drive request too, just to make sure it's going to work for us. Configure events. We're going to say, we'll start with that one, and we'll say create a new. There we go. Drive event. I'm just creating a sample event to test things out, and then we're going to call this drive request with no slots. All right, save it. Test, drive event, test. All right, we have a problem. Line 110 doesn't like this JSON bit. What's the end of this? Here, we need to blow this up. JSON dumps event. Cannot resolve object by discriminator. What are you talking about? payload. Why would that work for launch request and not this? Alexa says, I'll start working on the expense report for that, Justin. Alexa plus Tesla, Alesla. I love it. It reminds me of the Alexa Silver Edition commercial. All right, drive requests. What are we doing wrong here? I think we're doing something wrong. Where is it? Launch request handler. This should be drive request handler. If you can spell it right. I think that's all we have to do. I'm using a decorator. Do I have to do anything down here at the end of the skill? No. Let's save it and try that. I don't think that will fix it, but it won't hurt. Okay. Discriminator for class. This is really good when you're trying to extol the virtues of Python and run into errors. Let's see. Object type is request envelope. Where's JSON dumps? JSON dump string. Whoops. We're not dump stringing the event at all. All right, I'm gonna block this out right now, and we're just going to send. Let's do this ourselves. Data. Forward, can't type. Let's see if this fixes it. I've spent my morning, Joe says. Oh, you can hear a big boom whenever you let your hands fall. So I have hands like a bear. I've got an idea. Hold on, Trinity. Or whoever that was. I'm gonna put this hoodie under it. I've noticed that before too. See, this will make it a lot better. Sorry, that's probably pretty loud. Okay. How's that? Let's see. Joe Mocode says, I spent my morning uninstalling Python so I can start using PyEnv. Joe, check out Anaconda 2. I like it better, and I think it's newer. And you might like it better too. It seems to me it's easier, but you can't go wrong with PyEnv or virtual env. The Trinity says, Mike on the desk, need to get a boom arm. Yep, I agree, Lord of Sound. And then, yeah, Justin makes a comment about uninstalling Python. It's tricky, especially if you're launching these EC2 instances where they have it built in. There's different versions built in. The nice thing is these deep learning instances do come with a lot of different versions that you can activate. But there's a pro tip for you. If you're installing Carla, just don't use a virtual environment right now. It was a lot easier for me once I got away from the virtual environment. And I 100% of the time use virtual environments for projects until Carla. So now I can't say 100%. All right, I have a problem in this Lambda skill. Let's see if anyone else can see it. So if I hit test again, let's make sure I saved it first. Test. That's really weird. Let's check on this configure test event. Let's see if anything weird is happening here. So if I go from type drive requests, it's not drive request, it's drive request. That could be the problem. Save just to be sure, test. Okay, let's test the start session. Now start session doesn't work. 99.999%. Let's see. This is really weird that we have an error. Let's get rid of drive request altogether. Something when we did that has changed up our happy little world. See if we get better messages here. So, request components, skill builder. Line 43, okay, there's an issue in line 43, but we don't even have line 43 anymore. Let's test this again. Alexa start session. So line 43, there's some kind of issue with this. How did this just work for us a few minutes ago? Oh, okay, there's payload. All right, I see one thing. Let's do this, and let's change this to payload. Let's save it, test it. This should work again. Hey, has anyone used layers before in Lambda? Lord of Sound, thank you for that link. I'm going to click it here and come back to that. So test this. It should work this time. All right, good. So that worked. So layers, I don't know if you've used it, but I'm using layers for this. So if you've run into this before where you try to use the Ask SDK core, then you have to create a deployment package with that in there. So what I did was, Justin he's the layer master. Well, good, Justin, because I'm ashamed to say that Wednesday, February the 5th, 2020 was my first time to use layers. He wrote the wiki on it. Oh, Justin, I'm sorry I missed that wiki. Yeah, I would love a link too. But I've got a layer, so I'll show you my two layers. I have a layer for the Ask SDK, which Justin probably has, and I have one for the AWS IoT Python SDK. So it makes it really easy because I like editing my code in Lambda. I don't like having to upload it all the time or upload a deployment package. So this was a really good way to do it. And I agree, Justin, they really are awesome, and I'm kind of ashamed that it took me this long to do it. All right. I'm also ashamed that I cannot make a simple new request handler, so we're going to figure this out. So we're going to take launch request. We're going to copy it again. We're going to go here. We're going to say if request type is drive request, and we're going to say we're going to change this to drive request handler. Drive request handler. Handler for driving. Okay. Moving your car. I don't need this removed. I'm going to keep that there, I guess. Let's just see if everything's right. So we have this all looks good. I'll keep hello world there just for now. Let's just test it with Alexa start session, make sure it works. Lambda layers plus cakewalk tutorial, layer cake. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, that's good. All right, we're testing that. So the original one works. Let's try the drive event. I want to see green and happiness, but no, nothing. Huh, okay. I have no idea why that would be the case. So we're going to say, let's get rid of this line. Maybe it's a tab issue. We've run into tab issues before. That wouldn't be anything new. Get rid of these blank lines for now. This is one way to start. So there's a drawback to Python is tabs. If you have 5 spaces instead of 4 and you have 4 everywhere else, then it gets angry with you. Justin says, Lord of Sound, you win the internet. All right, still no good. We're going to figure this out together. Serialization, so it's probably something with the JSON. Ask SDK model request class, traceback, and everything is happening in the skill builder, but nothing in our code jumps out. Let's just take out everything. Let's just comment this out. Handler input. Should in session false. That looks fine to me. All right, nothing. What about the most simple request handler we can have? So speech text is out. Let's just get rid of, let's start over with, maybe we shouldn't copy the launch request. It's obviously not happy. Let's see what happens if we do hello world intent. So we're gonna save this. We're gonna configure this test event to be hello world intent. Eventually. So drive intent, we're just going to change down here to, whoops, let's start with this one. All right. Create a new test event based off that. We're going to call this hello world intent. I'm going to call this hello world. Let's just see if this works. Lord of Sound, do you need to register the handler? I didn't think so on this with the decorators, but it's very possible. Justin. Hello world, test it. I wonder if it's some weirdness with the... Let me make sure, Justin. So they're not being registered with decorators here. There's launch request, session ended, exception handler. Yeah, there's no registering of those with these decorators. So it doesn't even I think it may be an issue with my test event. So let's configure a new event based off an Alexa template. Alexa intent insert get new fact. Let's just try that one. Type is yeah, here's the problem. It's the request. It should be an intent request. There's intent request, launch request, obviously. All right, we know what to do now. Drive intent handler. Okay, we've got it figured out now. All right, so let's just go back to launch. Copy this one. Well, Justin, if you don't know how it works, I apparently don't either, so you're in good company. All right, we're going to call this drive intent handler. And we're just going to make sure everything looks good. Here, launch request, we're going to change to drive intent handler. And we're going to say, okay, driving your car. So you know the Tesla feature summon, or summons, is it summons? I think it's summon. A summons is a bad thing to get. Summon will drive your car too, so you can imagine that we could use the same thing for our virtual car. Driving your car. All right, we're gonna save this, we're gonna test it, we're gonna get green, and we're gonna go build our skill. Lord of Sound, anyone else notice that declaring async functions in TypeScript is just plain weird? Just got into this using the attributes manager and an Alexa intent handler. You know what, Lord of Sound? Async is what drove me away from Node mostly when I was in it. I never could get my head around how to use it best. All right, this is not what I want to see, but at least it's green. So let's figure this out. Unable to find a suitable request handler. So let's make sure what we're doing. But I bet you some of our, hey, W. Giorgio, drive intent handler. I think maybe we didn't name it that. Hello world intent, right here. Drive intent handler. Whoa. Speech text, is it even getting to this point? Let's just put a little debug here. Print here, just to make sure. Save it. Drive intent handler. Publishing, published. Setting the speech text. Everything there looks good. Async await makes life easier. Sorry, there's a problem. Well, let's figure this out. Unable to find a suitable request handler. So help intent's built in, cancel's built in, fallback's built in, session ended's built in, all exception. We're getting down to there, it looks like. Why aren't we getting to our request handler? Hello world intent. Let's see if hello world intent works. So we're going to call this hello world intent, save, test. Hello world from Python decorators. So what have we done different? We have can handle function is intent name, so we know that. Hello world intent handler is fine. Handler input, we're returning this. I don't see anything wrong with our code. So we're going to copy hello world. We know hello world works. We're going to change it to drive intent. We're just going to see if we can get that same output. I'm going to configure this real quick to go back to drive intent handler. I'm going to make sure that's what we called it. All right, let's try it. Okay, so that works. I don't know, so maybe there was a little, maybe there's some error in this, but we're going to say speech text. We're going to get this, and we're going to publish a message. driving. All right, tab issues. Tab issues look good. Payload looks good. Payload data, we're gonna say forward just to make sure it can do something. Publish, print published. All right, now if this doesn't work, definitely missed something. All right, driving. Did we get some action here? It's trying to drive. Okay, good. So let's try to help this little car out. We're gonna put some steer on it. I'm gonna try to reverse a little bit. So Q, W, reversing, and I'm turning. Now I'm putting it back into forward. So it should be getting full throttle still because we sent a throttle up event, but we didn't change anything. So one thing I want to show you that's really cool is watch the speed. Let's see, watch the, let's send a forward event again. Where's our throttle? All right, let's try it again. Test. So automatically we get that. Now watch the speed and then watch the gear. So it's in neutral, now it's in second. So it's actually shifting gears, which is really cool. It should break, yeah, neutral, it might go back down to first. I went to third. But it actually does shift gears and have neutrals, it's really fun. W. Giorgio, you can do parallel promises in 108. Lord of Sound says, I find it easier to process return values in something like a promises all parallel. Alexa full throttle. So when I did these promises, I used an older library. Was it Bluebird? Is that one of the common ones for this? Where you can do things in parallel or serial or sequential. All right, so we know that works. Let's just change up a couple little things here, and then we will go make the skill. All right, driving. Save it. Let's go build a skill now. Lord of Sound says yes. Was that yes to the Bluebird? Giorgio. W. Giorgio, we are making a self-driving car. Well, we're not making the self-driving car, but we're controlling. Let's see, where's Twitchy Twitch? The virtual car didn't crash, but the stream did. Yeah. All right. So I won't stay on this. So I'm down in a different computer because I've got a really good setup going right now that's brought me luck with Carla, but maybe it's not as stable. So I'll go back to the old attic next time. Basically, I'm using Skype to get this window effect with the blur. I learned that from our buddy Amit. I really like it. I think I can do it on my Windows box too. But okay. So anyway, W. Giorgio, I don't know how much you heard or didn't hear, but we're working with a self-driving car simulator called Carla. And now we are working with using our voice to control Carla. So right now we can control Carla with WASD, the typical gaming controls, things like that. Let's get away from this wall. We need a straightaway. We need a ramp is what we need. This is where I really want GTA. Q, W. There we go. I heard a really good podcast this week. And it was from Peter Abil. He was on with Lex Friedman. If you listen to Lex's podcast, it's a really good one. If you don't listen to it, it's great. He's an MIT, I think he's a professor now, but he interviews luminaries in this field. So he's interviewed Elon Musk and Rohit Prasad. He interviewed Peter Abil. This was a 2018, I think December 2018. But Peter brought up a good point about how it's funny how in America, at least, we can go out and take a 20-minute driving test and get a license that lets us get on the road, basically. And the difference between how long it takes for a self-driving car to get that same license. All right, so we just need to build one intent. We'll call it Hello World. No, we'll call it Drive. Drive intent. This will be pretty basic here. What might users say? Let's say drive, go forward, go fast, move. We're not going to do slots right now. Let's see, drive. Let's save the model. And I don't think I have an endpoint, or I don't have an endpoint yet. Let's get this endpoint set up. You guys still there? I don't see any comments. Looks like we're still there, though. So let's bring this over here. We can have this nice and close. Is this the one I want? This is the one I want. Still here. Nice. All right. Default region. We want that. I wonder if I need to add this trigger first, right? Lambda functions, Carla messages. Let's add a trigger for Alexa skills kit. Right here. Skill ID is going to be, where are you, skill ID? Carla controller. Right here. Oh, maybe not. Let me go back to this window. There it is. Copy to clipboard. I'm going to close that one. That one was confusing. Here's our skill ID that just gives us a little security. I can't wait. Lord of Sound says, I can't wait until self-driving cars are good enough for everyday use. It's basically a full-fledged personal taxi with a fixed monthly fee. Yeah, I think at some point, we're going to have these pods of cars that are just waiting around neighborhoods, around cities, even in rural areas. And you don't need a car. You won't need a car at that point. It's just an app button, push button away, or a voice command away. I still want to take manual control every now and again. I know. I wonder when we're going to see the tipping point, when that'll flip, when there are more autonomous than there are non-autonomous. But I do agree, especially for gearheads. I'm not a gearhead, but I know it's going to be a painful world. So there's always going to be people that have mechanical cars, combustible engines. All right, so I've got my trigger. I think everything's good with Lambda. Let's go back to this and save it. I like driving, says Justin. All right, we've got that. We're missing an invocation. Carla controller, we have it. Okay, let's test it out. So I'm going to say, Carla, Alexa, tell Carla controller to drive. We're going to see if this works. I really hope at the end of this road, it's a giant ramp. When the insurance companies discount the hell out of self-driving cars because they are a lot safer, money talks and times are tight. I don't like other drivers, but I like driving you. I feel the same, W. Giorgio. I don't want to offend a whole state, but let's just say Texas is near a state that is notorious anecdotally for being bad drivers. So I have to deal with friends from that state. All right, here we go. Alexa, tell Carla controller to drive.
Okay. Here's our robot home.
Alexa, stop. iRobot home. Carla controller. Let's just go here and test this way first. Illinois isn't near Texas. That's funny. My family's from Illinois, so I can agree with you on that one. Test is enabled. Wait, what's happening here? A valid interaction model. What have I not done? Build? Alexa, tell Carla to look out. You don't live near California with their bad driver. You know, California, they're just... Oh, build model. Yeah, we've got to do a lot, don't we, here? Let's see. What am I missing? California is at the disadvantage of having this infrastructure that causes bad driving. I don't know if they're all bad drivers over near Washington. Okay, so we can all agree that we all live near people that probably are bad drivers. It's certainly not us. We are good drivers. But everyone around us. Drivers in LA are super cutthroat. You have to put your blinker on as you change lanes, otherwise they won't let you over. I think that should be a general rule. Like when I come up to a stop sign and turn left or right, I want to say, I am signaling my intention to move left or right. All right, we built the model. That may be one reason that ALEXA didn't work, but we're going to try this. Test is disabled. Now we're good. So open Carla controller.
Welcome to the Alexa Skills Kit.
All right.
You can say hello.
We're going to try this. Here we go. Let's go back to... Oh, man. So one of the topics in Carla, I think we just have another episode idea. Maybe we'll do this one. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. One of the topics is the camera. There's a LiDAR camera. There's an RGB camera. And there's a depth camera. So we could use... I wonder if we could use APL to start doing some visuals. That'd be fun. Okay. Alexa, tell Carla controller to drive.
Sorry, there was some problem. Please try again. The Hello World skill can't help you with that. Sorry, there was some problem. Hello.
Open
Please try again.
Carla controller.
Sorry, there was some problem with that. Please try
You can
again.
say hello.
What are we doing wrong here? Let's make sure we've saved this latest. We have saved it. We've built our model. Whoops, I don't want that. Where's our model at? Did we close Alexa? Oh no, it's right there. All right, let's go back to Carla Controller build. Let's make sure everything looks good here. JSON editor. We have a fallback, cancel, help, stop, drive intent with some samples. Drive intent. It's not what it's called, is it? It's looking for something else. I think it's drive intent handler. All right, that might be the issue. Let's do this. Save the model. Build it. We'll try this. Let's see. Trinity, I was born and raised in California. I've played, JB9 has played with Carla. I forgot how to Alexa. That's a really good point. All right. Oh, we're still building. Lord of Sound, you've moved from one sushi place to another. Japan. Yeah, Justin, who has the best sushi? Seattle has really good sushi too, though. Ginny Marrow, welcome. Thanks for joining from the plane. That's some serious. That's #1 fan of the week right there. We need a fan here. You get the high five for fan of the week. If you're joining from an airplane to watch a boring Twitch stream about model failures and things that aren't working right, you deserve a high five. All right, that works. Oh no, we're driving. We don't want to drive. Luckily, it didn't kick it off. Let's click to activate just to make sure. Oh, manual control B. Whoops, not H. Oh, I hit escape. I got so happy giving the high five that I hit escape. All right, all I'm doing is restarting the Carla client, so we'll just get right back in. And we'll get a new car. Let's see if we get that dump truck that Trinity wants. Oh, the motorcycle. Miami for a half marathon. Nice, that is great. Should be great weather. And luckily you missed the Super Bowl traffic. All right, so we're going to try to make motorcycle drive. Let's turn off. Let's override false. Come on, give me false. False. Okay. Alexa, tell Carla controller to drive.
Driving.
Look at this. Go. It's okay. Remember, it takes two. So we saw the message come through from voice, which is good. Alexa, tell Carla controller to drive.
Driving.
There it goes. There she goes. All right, team. We have voice controlled Carla. That was only about 6 weeks in the making. And I really feel, oh, that's not going to end well. All right, cool. She got to 4th gear on the bike. She's going to keep going. So let's help her out and just do a little stop. We're going to send a stop command. And that way. All right, cool. So, nice. Tell Carla to turn. What I would really love to do is, I don't know how we can change the camera view on this mode yet, so I'll figure that out. But I'd really love to have the ultrasonic sensors and LiDAR set up where we could actually know when to turn. We could just say, tell Carla controller to drive autonomously or to navigate to the grocery store, whatever it is. But this is a start. All right, so if you want to do this yourself, I've got a not Twitch robot, what's it called? Carla Desktop. Carla Desktop will get you started. This will get you the server. This will get you the client, so you'll be in this exact same setup where you have a simulation running. I don't have any instructions on connecting the voice. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think it's, you can watch videos for that. But if you do decide to do it and you get stuck or need help, then I'm happy to help. You can just reach out to me on JB Nunn on Twitter, and then, or whisper me on Twitch, and I'll help you out there too. All right, cool. So we have a few minutes left. Any questions on? Oh yeah, let's share the link. Thanks, Justin. Let's see. Oh, I did not hit enter. All right. HTTPS GitHub.com. I saw a good trick from Jeff Blankenberg the other day where he had the Twitch chat and a pop out. So I'll do that. I wonder if I can do it here. It was twitch.tv, JB Nunn. Is it pop out? Oh, I guess it needs to be Amazon Alexa. Anyway, I'll have that for next time so we can paste links a little easier. Well, high five to everyone. I think this was a team effort for sure. There's a lot more places we could take with it, but I've got some more episode ideas. We'll get away from Carla for a little bit. If anyone continues work with Carla, I'd love to see it. I really would. That'd be fun. But we'll go on to some other episodes, maybe integrate a little bit more voice, maybe come back to this one eventually too, when we learn a little bit more about how we can train with it and how we can get data out of it. Justin says he pops it out too. He also queues up links with Stream Deck. What does that mean? You queue up links with Stream Deck. So you use Stream Deck from the... Oh, that's a good call. So from your Windows machine, Stream Deck is really good. Oh, wait. Oh, Stream Deck is the little button push. I'm thinking of Streamlabs. You can put links in that, huh? That's a great idea, Justin. I haven't done that. Then the new Streamlabs OBS has Twitch chat on the screen. Okay, good. So Amazon Alexa is going to hook me up. Lord of Sound says genetic algorithms to evolve a dialogue with Alexa. Genetic algorithms to evolve a dialogue. Oh, that'd be really cool. It reminds me of like. So have you seen? It's like an additive printing process or generative modeling. So basically, you tell a robot, here is terrain. So if we're looking at this, here's a road, here's a wall, and here are your tools. You have wheels that are connected to a seat. How do you get over that wall? And so maybe they're not connected to the seat, but you give the robot tools and say, here are the tools you have. How would you get over that wall? And so then instead of a human designing a motorcycle to drive up and over a wall, the robot comes up with some weird, crazy design that actually works. That'd be fun too. Artificial life controlled by Alexa for a virtual robot organism. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things we can do with this. We might find all sorts of things to do inside Carla, so we can spawn people and act as a person in here too. Justin says, create a button on Stream Deck to open links to do a set of tasks like tweet and start the stream. I've used it for start stream. I haven't used it for tweeting. That's a good one too. Good, that's helpful. All right, well, I think we'll call it an early Friday. So thanks for joining. W. Giorgio, thanks. It was good to meet you. Jenny, thanks for hopping on the airplane. That was really nice. If I miss anyone else here, who is it? Trinity. Justin, thanks for being around. Lord of Sound, as always, your comments are appreciated. And if I missed anyone else, say hi. But if not, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.